Hey guys, it's Beast Mode, and today we're doing Let's Talk 2. So, let me start off by saying Mortal Kombat 12 hasn't been announced yet, but after the recent Ed Boon Q&A on Twitter, where he gave hints basically saying 2023, I decided, screw it, let's talk about my wish list, even though I'm more of a casual fan of Mortal Kombat and I'm a newer fan of the franchise. I just want to talk about some Mortal Kombat. I want to talk about first the customization. I want it to be a little different, but mostly the same. I like how in depth MK11 is. I do want some cool customizations packs that change your character drastically in look. For example, Noob Saibot's the Batman Who Laughs skin. Here's the twist. I'd like to see some licensed character skins. I know, some of you don't like that. But no, not just DC. I mean maybe a skin pack has a skin that'll make Aaron Black look like Judge Dredd. That would be sick. I know some people hate guest characters, like I said. I think they are the shit, man. Like, I love them. So, this would allow them to include some more cool characters that people have been asking for, but would be maybe too similar to another character. This might also help get certain licenses, because some licenses might not want their characters in the game fully, for story reasons or whatever else. This opens a door that says, hey, they wore a costume of that character. That character was never actually in the Mortal Kombat universe, technically. So their story isn't really affected by it. It's this cool little loophole that could get us some more characters we never imagined would make it into Mortal Kombat. If you ever hear this, Mortal Kombat team, please use it. Speaking of character pack costumes, I'd like to see these DC characters in a pack. These are just what I expect and would like before we get into the out-of-the-box choices or interesting ones. Jax with a cyborg skin would be really fucking dope. Aaron Black with a Deadshot skin, obviously. Ermac with the Dr. Fate skin. Raiden could have a Black Adam or Shazam skin. Noob Saibot with the Scarecrow skin. Now into the interesting ones. Johnny Cage dressed as Batman. Dude, come on. Like, that would be hilarious as hell. Maybe even add some voice lines of Johnny saying some iconic Batman stuff with his flare on it. That would be so fire. Any magical character at Spectre would be such a cool pick that is out of nowhere, dude. I think I'm the only person that's thought of that. Maybe besides the creators. But, like, that'd be such a good one. If you have any, leave a comment. I'd like to see who you think would make a good character costume for DC. Now, on to the big stuff. Everyone expects guest characters. I'll try and pick some that I know are possibilities. I know that Michael Myers and sadly I'm pretty sure Ash Williams will not be just from Ed Boon's Twitter. So first off, I'm a horror fan and a superhero fan, obviously. With that said, here's some guest characters I'd like to see in Mortal Kombat 12. Chucky. He'd be a very interesting pick. But with his series, I could see this happening. It'd just be really hard to tackle how to make him a balanced character and not broken or not too weak. But I think if they did that, it'd be like, oh my gosh, dude. Like, I think people would literally be like, how'd they make this possible? Next, Pinhead. Now, come on. He fits perfectly into Mortal Kombat. His movies are dark as hell. He rips people to pieces. Like, you see a lot of blood in those movies. Like, he's such a good pick. If he could get into Mortal Kombat, I think it'd be one of the coolest collaborations they've gotten so far with licenses. Like, could you, like, I know one of his finishers would have to be, like, spawns, but still, like, that'd be so cool to see Pinhead just ripping people apart and then putting them back together or something, like, weird. Maybe putting them on that, like, totem pole from those movies. Like, that'd be cool. And, you know, after the Hulu movie that might get a sequel, that might have enough buzz, you know, to get him a spot. Because I know some licenses and certain things, they want a little buzz. Like, some of them don't. I don't think Mortal Kombat really cares about buzz but I think like it helps get characters sometimes, or if the character's popular in media at some point, like close to the game, it helps them say, well, hey, you're doing a series right now. Would you like to, like, I think it's a better time, for some people like Pinhead and Chucky who are having, like, movies and series right now. Now on to Ghostface. With the new movie around the corner, I see this as a super high possibility for a guest character. Even though this might not be the most interesting character to choose, I love seeing any Ghostface, past or present, enter the arena. And I mean, like, you could take any Ghostface. It depends on who they work with. If they go to like Radio Silence and they're like, hey, we want to put Ghostface in the game, it's going to be a little different than if they go to the costume company, because the costume company doesn't own the rights to the characters. So we just get a Ghostface that would be kind of like Dead by Daylight, where it's a completely new character that isn't involved in the movies. But I'd like them to go through both and like get the opportunity to take a character and put them in. Maybe a Ghostface that's died. Maybe one, like, I'd love to see Stu's Ghostface come back in a Mortal Kombat, and just like they'd have to explain it in the story like that they set up with Mortal Kombat, but I think they could pull it off, and that'd be a really cool like DLC chapter. Now, John Wick or Neo, look, we need a Reeves character in Mortal Kombat. Like, John Wick is an assassin with insane skills. It would be so fun to play as him. Same with Neo, who I think might fit better because of his abilities. It would add more depth than John Wick, because John Wick is gonna be similar to other characters we've seen and gotten, and I think Neo would have more abilities, and he'd be easier for them to explain how he got in the universe in the first place, because those movies go places. So obviously, like, they could explain stuff that, like, how he's here. But I'd be happy with either one being on the roster just because of how legendary they are. Now, this one's going to shock a lot of people, but the Punisher. Everyone, listen. Like, I know people are going to be like, dude, he's a Marvel character. He's not DC. How are they going to make that happen? Exactly. It needs to happen. We need a Marvel character to enter a tournament who, better than the Punisher, to enter a tournament. I mean, the Punisher has no problems with killing whoever he sees as a villain or a threat to civilians or a threat to himself. And I mean, let's be honest, he has no problems with just cold blood killing in general, and he's a badass. Like, he'd fit great into Mortal Kombat, and I think he'd be cool to see. And I think that's a likely character that if they ever tried to get a collab with Marvel, I don't think it's going to happen this game. I don't. But I think in the future, if they try to get a collab with Marvel, I think he's one of the characters that has the highest chance of being in, like, a crossover, like, coming to Mortal Kombat, because he gets so bloody and gory in his comics that it's like, and even that Netflix series is like, dude, he just would fit really good into the universe, and they wouldn't have to, like, it's like he doesn't have a problem doing these things. He doesn't have, like, his moral code is, like, not like other heroes. He's very bent on, I will kill somebody. Like, I don't care. I will kill somebody for the greater good. Like, he'd fit so great, man. I'd love to see them do a collab with Marvel. I don't care who they bring over, but I'd love, like, one of the Mortal Kombat games, I'd love to see, like, if they get in talks with Marvel and they're going to make, like, a Marvel game. And then they take, like, they get to put a character into Mortal Kombat that is going to be on the roster in that Marvel game too. But like I said, I don't think it'll happen this game. I really have low expectations for that to happen. anytime soon, but I think eventually it'll probably happen. I think because everything like that, if the fans want it enough and they keep talking about it and they keep pushing for it, it'll probably happen. But it's just gonna be a while. Now on to Homelander, a psychopathic Superman, basically. I know we have Injustice Superman, but come on, Homelander isn't DC and is different enough that it would be wonderful to see. He could even have an Injustice Superman skin, but I'd really like to see Homelander. I think Homelander is everybody wants him right now because the Boys show is doing really well. But he'd be so good for the roster as well. Like he's different than Superman. He's really lost, and he'd be a good character to bring to this universe because he's much. I feel like he's much worse than Injustice Superman, but they're both like, super power. Like they're both powers super similar, but Homeland, I just feel like he's got more to bring because he'll kill anybody. He doesn't really give a fuck about anybody else. So it's like it'd be like he'd fit in this universe, and he'd be a great character to bring in. Like I think so many people want to see him on the next roster that I think some people are gonna be disappointed if he's not on it. I don't know if that'll happen. I know that's like that'd be a hard license possibly to get. It might not be, but I think it might be just because they already got DC. It's like, why you want our character when you have all these DC characters? But that's kind of my list for guest characters and what I want. I'd like any characters you want or think would be good in Mortal Kombat in the comments. Just put them down there. Tell me who you want to see. It could be John McClane from Die Hard or whoever. I have one thing that is something I just think would be nice to have in the next Mortal Kombat game. And that is a longer DLC cycle or update period. I like MK having new games, not being a continuous game. So that isn't what I want or think the franchise needs. However, I do think a longer DLC cycle would be a welcome change for this new title, especially after this long wait. And yes, this means more guest characters. Like, if they're going to do a longer DLC cycle, I mean, like, add more guest characters in the update period. Like, have more guest character packs, have more costume packs, have more of that, too. And just fill up that roster, man. Just fill it up for a while. And then, they can still be working on the next game. But they can, add stuff to this one. And I just want to say, I got into MK because of Injustice. So obviously, I'm very excited and hopeful for a third installment in that franchise. So don't think, like, I just want to see the next Mortal Kombat after this game. Like, I like NetherRealm Studios. I liked them when they made Injustice, and that's how I found this, like, all of that. That's how I got into Mortal Kombat. So I really don't want this to breeze by. Because I don't want to feel like Mortal Kombat 12 just was really fast. I want it to feel like it was a longer game that had a longer life than some other games do. And I'd rather have MK12 and Injustice 3 have active development with substantial changes for a few years. I'm talking like, 2 to maybe even 3 years of, like, they can add stuff. But I just want, like a second year where they actually add guest characters and they have more stuff. And it's a lot more stuff. It's substantial, in both of the next titles. Because I know after MK12, they're most likely going to release in a couple, like, down the line, Injustice 3. And I want the same for that game. So I hope you guys enjoyed and tune in for the next Let's Talk. The Beast says peace.